Yeah. Yeah. I thought I won't get it. Sugar. Look, she only.
Welcome, as we call it, the regular city council meeting, almost 6 p.m. But it's the 21st day of June. This would be most likely the first day of summer. I'm correct, most likely in that. The 21st always is. I think the summer's been here for a month. However, this is the first real official day. So anyway, getting started here, we're going to stand. We have a very special guest today that's here to do the invocation. One of our own, Cliff McElroy, is going to do our invocation. We're so happy that you volunteered to do that.
I feel privileged.
Well, you are, and we're privileged to have you. And I think Mayor Pro Tem Henry Face is going to do the pledge for us. So if you want to get started, Cliff, go ahead.
Dear Heavenly Great Father, thank you for the time you have given us here, Father. Thank you for each and every employee we have here, Father. We thank you for the leaders we have here, Father. You put your hand over each and every one of them. I know the decision they make is a big decision for the city of Henderson to grow. Father, I want to thank you for their family, to let them be on this board, Father, to be away from them, to protect their family when they're not with them, Father. We thank each and every one in this room, put your hand over each and every one and protect them when they leave here, get everybody home safe, Father. And again, I want to thank you for each and every, our city council, our mayor, and our city manager. Thank you. We have this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, at this time I will declare a quorum. We do have one here. We're ready to go. All the public notices have been posted in the front and the back of City Hall. We're legal on that line there on the Open Meetings Act. So at this point in time, we will get started. We have any citizen comments here? Citizens that may not have signed up. Well,
Yeah, once you brought her on.
yes, did you sign up, sir? You brought a token. I guess not. Okay, well, that's okay. Okay, any presentation and announcements from the group and our managers and our directors and our council members? Announcements? I do have an announcement, a small announcement. We have our chaos is slowed down a little bit over at the new City Hall. It appears that a lot of our staff has moved in actually, and they're putting things together, and getting things organized. I noticed today it was a little louder in there. So I thought, well, yeah, this may be the new norm. So, and it could. I don't know, Jay, did you notice any extra norms?
Just kept my door shut.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I started.
There's the answer.
No,
Curtin Davis was over there fiddling around in their offices trying to get things straightened out. They didn't make a sign. They were not hammering or doing anything like that. So Kurt was polishing on the top of his desk. Everything all polished. I thought, yeah, I should have got him over here. Prepared my desk. He had hand polish. He looked like it.
Yep.
But he knows how to do that. Anyway, we're rapidly moving right along here. It may be a while yet before Jake completes the project.
yeah. So to that point now, all community development, public services, water utilities, municipal court, anything that is public facing to the customer, visitors, citizens, whoever, if they need anything at all, businesses, whatever, is all now moved into that building. We still have a lot of other things to kind of do, but as far as the offices and the connectivity to do whatever needs to happen. All of that now is at the new location, with the exception of, police, fire, and animals.
Yeah.
We leave those folks where they are.
And the police and fire and animal control are welcome at any time if y'all need to come down there. You know where y'all can come see us.
Don't bring unauthorized visitors.
Actually, Roger came over today for a little while. That's okay. You're always welcome.
Jack Matthew was there today
Really? Okay. Oh,
Interesting.
well, good. It's such a large building, you can't really see everybody that comes in. All right, let's get started. We'll start with the consent agenda. Any item on the consent agenda can be removed, taken over, moved over to the regular session business if needed to be so by a council member, the mayor, city manager. It looks like no one's going to do that. so-
No, I would, please, we'll find out.
Do what?
Number five.
Number five, okay. What would you like to do?
She's
Not
going to
really.
have to abstain.
Not-
I
You want to
shall
abstain,
not,
okay,
I
that'd
shall
be okay.
not.
Oh, you don't. Okay. Number five, you're going to abstain, no problem. Got enough here, hold on, so it's good. All right, anything else? Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, all opposed? One abstain. Consent agenda stands approved at this time.
Well, I think ultimately you just, this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, and so I think you need to go ahead and do 5 now separately with a different vote.
Yeah.
And then
I heard to abstain.
Okay.
so she wanted to pull 5 out.
Okay. All right, we'll move to item number five, back to item number five. And we'll revote on that. You gonna make the motion?
I move we approve the engagement letter for the audit services fiscal year 2022.
Second. All right, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? Okay. All abstaining? We have one. Okay. All right, that's good. Okay. I've never done it that way before, but that's okay. We're glad to do it. All right, let's move on down now to the regular session. So item number 7 is consideration and possible action upon the interlocal agreement with Harris County for services related to the public safety communications system. So,
Mayor, council, we're asking for your consideration of possible action upon an interlocal agreement between us and Harris County. It's in reference to the text one system that we're going on to. What this will do will allow us to use their towers in any situation where us or fire outside the towers that we currently use or will be using. We'll be in other areas using other folks' towers, and this will allow us to do that without any, any issues that we could possibly have.
okay. You recommend to the council?
I recommend that we go ahead and push through on that.
With that being said, do I hear a motion to
I
approve?
move we approve the interlocal agreement with Harris County.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Item number 7 stands approved.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Item number 8 is to discuss and take possible action to approve a resolution amending action items in the Rusk County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan dated August 21st, 2021. Jay, Sharon.
This is just a formal action that's got to be done, because we're getting a generator for the new building over there, and it's something that they've got to put in their hazard mitigation plan, and, we've already been communicating with Backy, so he's gonna take it to the county, he's gonna have that done.
You want to take action on that?
I move we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion has been made, second, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. All right, item number 8 stands approved. Item number 9 is consideration and possible action upon an agreement, an amendment, for the 2021-2022 HIDCO budget. Mr. Clary?
Y'all should have an item in your packet with a one-page spreadsheet, the list of amendments. We kind of save all these up, so we do all of them at one time instead of doing them throughout the year. But a lot of these several of these have to do with the new business part. And I don't necessarily think I'm gonna go through all of them, but if y'all have any questions on any of them, I'd be happy to answer. How's that?
That sounds good.
The HIDCO board's already approved them all. The biggest ones, the first one is a land sale, we're selling to Tyler Pipe. That wasn't in the budget. Jumped down to 6509, professional services engineering. I started lump summing a bunch of the business park expense items under that, but we've decided to pull that back out, and we're gonna start reporting that as a spreadsheet. All the expenses related to the business park, so we're gonna take that back down a whole bunch. And then the same thing at the utilities and improvements has to do with the business park. And then we had originally budgeted to do a spec building, and with the business park, we decided not to do that, so we went back to zero in that line item. So a couple of these have to do with adding Pier and Green to our plan, and so we had to change some budget items on that. If y'all have any specific questions, I'll be happy.
The travel and training increase,
Travel and training, that has to do with adding Karen to our budget.
that part of it?
Right, because we didn't have her for travel at all.
Okay.
Good question. Okay. We're motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the amendment for the HIDCO budget.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, John. Item number 9 stands approved at this time. Item number 10 is a discussion on the second reading and possible action on ordinance 2022-0509 for an amendment to the special exception uses, adding duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes to Article 2, Sections 2.09, 2.11, and 2.13 of the City of Henderson's zoning ordinances.
Good evening, Council and the Mayor. Lord, it's present the second reading of the ordinance that would permit in our districts R2, 3, and 4, the ability for builders to build or move in duplexes on vacant lots as a fill-in project, just to kind of fill some empty spots that are lots that are typically unbuildable or too small to build by current regulations. And we have a couple of builders ready to pull the trigger, one on a triplex, one on a duplex now, as soon as we have approval from council tonight. Our staff, worked with the city attorney and for this ordinance, and we recommend approval of this ordinance, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, this is just an ordinance that was in place before, and
It didn't get rolled into the new set of ordinances. We cleaned it up a little bit when we rewrote it just to make it a little more workable, but it's something that the city, I think, probably needs today.
This is just second reading.
Give us that
on the next item to vote on.
You got it. Yeah. All right.
Carry on.
All right. I was waiting on any questions. Don't want to rush. Item number 11, possible action upon second reading of ordinance 2022-05-09 for an amendment to the special exception uses, adding duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes to R2, section 2.09, 2.11, and 2.13 of the City of Henderson zoning ordinances. Okay, and we will actually vote on this particular item.
I'll make a motion that we, amend the, special exception for the uses, adding duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Item number 11 stands approved. Item number 12 is consideration upon 2006 Jacksonville Drive property that was tabled from the May 17 council meeting, recommending council deny an amendment to the Henderson zoning map for a property located at the 206 Jacksonville Drive residence due to a change from R2 to a C2 zone.
Mayor, if y'all remember this one, last meeting, I advised to go ahead and table this because there was some other information that was coming we need to work through. Since the last meeting, we were able to work through that and ultimately the zoning doesn't have to be, they pull the application and I think we refund her in the process of refunding that fee. We need to. So ultimately the application didn't need to happen. The change of zoning didn't need to happen. It's been resolved. So my recommendation tonight would be to ask for a motion, Mayor, to drop this from the agenda as it's not needed and just vote on the drop.
I wonder who strike this from the agenda.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Okay, we will strike item number 12 on the agenda. We will go to item number 13. That's consideration upon the second reading of an ordinance 2022-05-11 for an amendment to the Henderson zoning map for 8 properties owned by the First Baptist Church, changing the zone from R2 to IS.
Yes, sir.
Explain it, but you might want to explain it again.
These properties are all contained in one block, and the properties have been owned by the church and have been being used by the church for various functions and what have you. We had a meeting with the church staff and, came up with the idea they had asked about rezoning, is give them a little more flexibility, in land uses, property uses. And, our staff recommends, that these properties be rezoned from R2 to institutional and give the church a little more, like I said, a little flexibility with land use on this and what have you.
And both of these items, I actually stated there's 8 properties. There's actually 9.
There's
It's
actually
a correction. There's 9. There's 9
9
properties. There is 9 properties.
Not several parcels on this.
We can correct that. All right. Any questions? More questions? No? All right. Would you like to, someone make a motion?
I'd like to, make a motion that we, make the amendment and change from, zones, R2 to IS zone.
Second.
All right, motion has been made, seconded, all in favor? Please raise your right hand, like sign opposed. Okay. Item number 13 does stand approved at this time. So we're gonna move to item number 14, and possible action on the second reading of ordinance 2022-05-11 for an amendment to the zoning map for the 8 properties, rather maybe 9 properties, owned by the First Baptist Church in the zone R2 to IS. Now,
That's the second item. A while ago, which is really just the second reading, this is the actual ordinance.
this is the actual.
That's what I should have done. This one gets us came back up. So I need to do it again, I guess.
Just do it again.
Okay,
And we're gonna continue on with that, Adam.
okay. I'll make a motion that we, change the amendment for First Baptist Church, changing it from an R2 to an IS zone.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed. Okay, that does stand approved at this time.
You gotta approve twice, but
But you're gonna double approve.
Might want to put that in there.
It's not a big problem.
That sounded a lot better than you say.
All mine.
So we're gonna actually add a little more stuff out on the 14th. On the agenda, it will not be on the 14th, but it would be 14A. Okay? You have a little addendum here. Cheryl gave to everyone, I'm sure. And 14A would be consideration and possible action upon calling a special meeting and budget workshop, June 30, 2022 at 6 p.m. All right. Budget workshop. And you have a budget workshop sheet here, a list.
I could give you a calendar.
Yeah.
I left a calendar for everybody. We've got some special dates. They're just kind of summarized at the top of that. We can go ahead and do that. The 30th is not going to be a special meeting. It just needs to be a workshop.
Yeah.
So, at 6 p.m.
Yeah, at 6. Okay. That's great.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed. All right, 14A stands approved at this time. 14B, consideration and possible action on calling for a public hearing on proposed budget to be held July 19, 2022 at 6 p.m. also.
And that's just the public hearings that we've got to schedule for August. We need August the 9th and September the 6th is what we have on the budget calendar, and I've got to have that posted in July, so I'm asking that you go ahead and set those dates for those public hearings for the budget.
This one says July 19th.
This is the same as the council.
Yes.
Correct. Right.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed. All right, item number 14B stands approved. Item number 14C is consideration and possible action calling for a public hearing on the proposed tax rate to be held on also July 19, 2022 at 6 p.m.
So moved.
And again, I need those to be August 6th, August the 9th and September 6th, because I've got to post them in July. That's where I got the July date. I'm sorry about that.
Right. We correct that. All right.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed.
Does everybody
I just
understand
need
what's
to know
going on?
what days, yeah.
Yeah.
States.
So, and I'll, budget calendars by legislation are about as complex as they possibly can be, because you have to have a hearing on the tax rate, you have to have a hearing on the budget, and you have to have a second hearing, and then you have to approve an ordinance, and you gotta do it 2 readings. And you got so many days between each one, but it can't be before that day and it can't be after this day.
Right.
And so Cheryl has pulled all her hair out and replanted them and trying to make the calendar work. And so, anyway, it's kind of a difficult thing each year. And then at the same time, trying to work around, other calendars that are going on in the city. So, ultimately, the calendar that you have that you print out for you is the one. Right. That's one you want to put on your calendar and go. So we tried to stay as close as we could with and do a lot of things within the regular meetings there. We'll need to reschedule, right? Which meeting?
The September 13th, the September meeting.
The September meeting instead of the third Tuesday, we need to put it on September 13th, which I think is actually the second Tuesday that time.
Yes.
It'll fit within the budget calendar like it needs to, so we'll just reschedule that meeting. It won't be necessarily a special meeting, it'll be our regular meeting, we'll just reschedule and move it up a week. Clear as mud? If you have a question, just ask Cheryl.
Yeah. We're not doing this to confuse anyone. It just has to be done this way to clear.
So this is the regular meeting, what you're saying, this moves up to 6.
We would have it on the 20th, but it's moving up to the 13th. That's gonna be a special.
Okay.
This is the time of year we end up having some extra meetings trying to get this budget accomplished, so.
When do we get our first draft?
Budget workshop, right before the budget workshop, which is next Thursday. I think according to what y'all just voted on, is that right? My dates. Karen and I have a lot of work to do between now and
I'm
then,
telling you,
mostly Karen.
she knows.
No, we gotta look, so we have the preliminary numbers from the appraisal district. But they're about, they're very preliminary because we don't know what is new and what's not new. And so, and then where you have the Senate Bill 2, it changes where the revenue stream can be, and you have a 3.5% cap on your revenue, appraised values are up. So what does that do with the tax rate? So we have a lot of math to kind of work through, trying to figure out what that looks like. And before we even get the certified values, because then they'll change. So y'all will see everything at the budget workshop, and we'll think we'll have everything hopefully worked out, and we'll cross our fingers if that happens. And then we get the certified values. Until we get that, we really don't know if everything looks right or not. So it could be, it could change, be different. But they've been pretty close on their certified values on their to their preliminary. So for the last 2 or 3 years, so hopefully we'll be closer.
It should be.
But the real estate market's been a little wild recently, so and the appraised values have reflected that this time around too. So anyway.
Okay, so we'll move now to departmental reports. I'm sure you had those in your packet, read all of them. If you have any questions, we have some of the department managers here, and directors here to answer those questions or not. It just depends on what you would like to communicate to us. I don't see Randy here. I have a question for Randy.
Randy's at the water plant dealing with some
Major issues.
Some more, yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Keeping the water flow.
Well, he needs to be good. I've got the water stuff. All right.
I will say, I put in a separate report, that was emailed out this morning, I believe. Hopefully you've been able to see it. I should have printed some hard copies of that in case you have not seen it. But it's on the comprehensive plan, and our very first day that we had, Thursday, we spent most all day with Kimberly Horn, and the staff had their state of the city meeting from 12 to 4:30 in this room, and all our leadership team plus some were involved in that. And we've got some great feedback, and I appreciate the directors and all of our leadership group that was involved in that. Our consultant team, Kimberly Horn, was very impressed with the interaction that we had from our leadership group and our directors. I think a lot of times they go to these meetings, and sometimes the directors are sitting on their hands and not wanting to say that. That was not the case. We had a very interactive session and a lot to talk about. We ran over all of our time spots along the way, which is good. Then we turned into at 6 o'clock and had the first meeting with the CPAC, the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, and we had about half of the group be able to show up, and that's why we have so many. Sometimes next time around we'll probably have a different group altogether. And they did 2 hours worth of work and learned what the plan was, what it was about, and introduced themselves to each other. And they did some interactive sessions as well, some of the same session type stuff that the staff did. And so they did some little dots on maps, and things were very, very similar to what staff did. There was not a lot of new things that came out that we have not already heard, which is good. So I think we'll be moving forward here pretty quickly with this process. So next date to remember is July 16th, and that will be a open house event, they're calling it. We're going to have it at the new City Hall complex in that big open corridor downstairs and into the new council chambers. It won't be ready necessarily, but from all the furniture standpoint, but it will be clean and open, and we'll be working on that from the next 2 or 3 weeks to get ready. We're working on the details to try to figure out what we can do to make that event, family friendly, attract families, kids, different things. Maybe we have food trucks, Henry, or bounce houses, or we get the fire department come over here with trucks and spray a bunch of water around the air. Whatever we need to do to have fun and get folks to come. It'll be a Saturday from 10 to 2. It'll be kind of a come and go. They'll be doing some presentations, a lot of interaction with the citizens in our community. So y'all, we'll spread that word out, and we'll also have the website. I think the domain has been taken. I won't announce it necessarily because I don't think it's quite ready yet. So we don't want anybody, Kimberly Horn doesn't want anybody going on there and taking the survey questions until they tweak everything just right. But I do have it on your report, so as soon as it's live, I'll let you know. And then y'all spread the word and let's get as many people participating in these surveys online and then these face-to-face opportunities as we go. So anyway, any questions on where we are, what we did Thursday, or anything related to that, to the comprehensive plan?
I do have a comment. I was very impressed with Kimberly Horn people. They were very engaged in their job. And they really knew what they were going to say when they got here. They had all of their performance up here on the board, and it was just really good. I mean, they were clicking right along, kept everything moving, very good. I thought it was very impressive. Yes, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't. It was kind of like a show, you know, movie. It was really good.
Hopefully it was a good.
They were very professional, is what I'm trying to say, I guess, in their presentation. Okay. Boards and commissions, you have those reports in your packet, I'm assuming. If you have any questions, I did have 2 calls this month, congratulatory telephone calls, and you don't normally get people calling you, congratulating you on how good the cemetery looks. But Lakewood Cemetery out here, and I drove out through there right after I got the second call today, and to see, yeah, it really does look good and different. And they just buried a family member out there recently, in the last couple of weeks. And they were out, not from here, but they're from here. And so they told me to be sure to tell you that how good it looked. So I'm telling you,
Right, you go. Okay, I'll pass the word.
he was talking.
Keep making the water.
The guy was talking so fast, I didn't get his name, you know, and I didn't want to go back and ask him his name. Yeah. But he was very, very nice. And he thought we really did a good job out there at Lakewood.
There you go. It's a cooperative effort. If Randy keeps making water, Kurt keeps spraying on the grass.
I understand. And
When it's turning green, then we get to mow it.
right, I understand. But I just thought, I said, no, let's be sure Randy.
Always
Kept
good
the
to
water
have
flowing
those.
very good.
Yep.
Okay, at this point in time, we'll move to item number 16, that's executive session. We need to move into it at 6:32. To consult the city attorney discussing real property located at 113 East Main, 400 East Main, 402 East Main, and 404 West Main. Could be 402 West.
400, 402, and 404.
It could be, yeah, okay. I just got the comma here. Okay. Economic Development Agreement in accordance also with Department of Texas Government Code, Section 551, 072, and 087. Okay.